from our tomatoes. Now we are going to take all the different colors, and I'm sure it's very appetizing. So you see, you leave it in the pan there to saute for a little bit. You can even put the lid back on. The way to eliminate that is to soak the lentil overnight. Welcome to Uzima Lifestyle Center, Eat for Health. I'm your host, Janice Emanuel McLean, and I'm so glad you joined us today. Welcome. Today, we are going to make crisp walnut roast. Crisp walnut roast. And this is a protein dish, and it's a very good meat substitute. Now, here are the ingredients, but for this recipe today, we are doubling. So you will see on the screen 16 ounces, but we are doubling everything. So you times everything by 2. So we have our tofu, which is actually 32 ounces. Then we have our walnut, which is actually, because we are doubling the recipe, 1.5 cups. We have our onions. This is 2 chopped onions. Then we have our Rice Krispie cereal. This is actually 12 cups. And then we have our 4 cups of powdered vegan broth. It's actually a powder, and we made it into a broth, a seasoning broth. So those are all the main ingredients. And when we put the mixture together, if it is a little stiff, we are going to use a little bit of unsweetened soy milk or almond milk. So before we begin making this recipe, permit me to tell you a little bit about tofu. Tofu is a protein-rich food, and it's actually made from the curds of the soybean milk. The health benefits to eating tofu may include lowering of your LDL cholesterol, lowering of your triglycerides, relieving symptoms of menopause, and a lot more. Tofu is an excellent source also of iron and calcium. Now, one of the primary benefits of tofu it lowers your risk of arteriosclerosis. It also helps to regulate hypertension and cardiovascular diseases. So it keeps your arteries nice and functioning well. Now, it's very, very important for us to understand that unlike meat, tofu absorbs liquid. such as cooking oil and fats and so forth. So when you're preparing your tofu, you want to be very careful not to use a lot of oil because it absorbs it very, very well. Now let's move right along. Let's talk a little bit about the health benefits of walnuts. Here is our walnuts. Now walnuts is very, very rich in omega-3 fatty acids. It's rich also in copper, manganese, and it's overall a very good protein source. Now, this walnut, the nutrients in the walnut promotes healthy heart and it helps your circulatory system. It also acts as an anti-inflammatory food. It is rich in antioxidant properties and it can aid in reducing the risk of diabetes. Now, another very important thing about walnut is that it has some ingredients that helps to boost your brain power and improve your memory. It also contains compounds that help lower your risk of developing things like breast cancer. It has been shown to improve reproductive health in men as well. So, walnut is very, very good and very nutritious. Now, because this walnut is very perishable, when you have it shelled, you need to make sure that you're keeping it either in your refrigerator or, a cool, dark place, and so that it can remain fresh for a long time. So those are the health benefits of the walnut. Now, moving right along, we have already preheated our oven. This is our drained tofu. And it's very, very important that you wash the tofu and drain it. And you can use a fork or you can use a masher. And then you mash your tofu so it becomes nice and small pieces, right? And so this is what it looks like when it's all mashed. This is what it looks like when it's all mashed. Now, we have our baking tray all ready to go. So what we are going to do at this time, we are going to start putting the ingredients into the mixing bowl. So here is my tofu. I put it all in my mixing bowl. Sorry about that. Make sure the pieces are mashed really well. Then I'm going to add my Rice Krispie. Make sure you're stirring from the bottom so that everything is mixing in really, really well. Now you can hear as I mix how it's sounding crispy. That is why we call it crispy walnut roast. Now we're going to add our walnut to this. You want to make sure that everything is mixed in really well. Then we are going to add our onions. Make sure you're getting all the way to the bottom and mixing all the way up to the top That is very important to make sure everything is mixed in. So here we go with our crisp walnut roast. Now we have added all the dry ingredients, and we have also added our liquid, which is our vegan broth, vegan Washington broth. And we are mixing to ensure that everything is completely mixed in. Go all the way to the bottom and mix to make sure it is all nicely mixed in and it has a very good texture. You may need to have a second spoon here to help you to make sure everything is completely mixed, because you want to make sure the consistency is fine, it's not too dry. So you continue mixing for a little while. I think this is about a good consistency we have here, but I'll keep on mixing for a few more minutes to make sure everything is well blended in. So when you're finished mixing, if you put your spoon into the mixture and it's able to stand, then you know you have a pretty good consistency. Keep on mixing for a few more minutes. We want to make sure everything is well blended. Now you're going to take a little bit of oil and you're going to oil your pan, and then we're going to transfer this mixture into the pan. Make sure that it's even in your pan. Please remember to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And then you're going to bake this for 45 minutes. You're going to cover and bake for 45 minutes. And then you're going to uncover it and bake for another 10 to 15 minutes. So we're going to put some foil on top of this, and then we're going to get it baked. I want to show you what it looks like once you have it in the dish for baking. Now we are ready to put it in the oven. Let's put a piece of foil on it, and then we are ready to put it into the oven. Of the crisp walnut roast, and this is what it looks like. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut it, and then we're going to put a serving on the plate. It's better for you to do the cutting when it's cold. So here we have it, our crisp walnut roast with our salad. You can add a little bit of rice to that and some gravy if you choose to, and you'll have a complete meal. I hope you enjoy cooking with us today. It was a pleasure cooking in this episode. Please try this crisp walnut roast and you'll let us know how it came out. Thanks very much for joining us, and remember to subscribe to our page and click the bell so that you will be notified when new episodes are posted. Remember again, subscribe to our page and click the bell. And in that way, you wouldn't miss anything. You will be able to see all the upcoming episodes. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, your body is God's temple, so take good care of it. Have a great afternoon. It is also an antioxidant. All the different colors, and I'm sure it's very appetizing. So you see, you leave it in the pan there to saute for a little bit. You can even put the lid back on. Cook up rice. Right? So here we have it. And the bread,